So in this class mainly we'll be looking into the definition of web security or cyber security, and then we'll look into what is the goal of cyber security, principles of cyber security, and look into the various types of attacks, and finally we'll look into the motivation for these attacks. So coming to the first definition of web security, so web security can also be called as cyber security, and this is a process of securing the confidential data that is stored online from an unauthorized access and modification. When I say the data is stored online, means the data that is stored in the websites or your web applications, which can be used for, say, banking, e-commerce or social networking, or even your emails. Not only that, when we talk about web security or cyber security, the computer that you are going to use, that also needs to be secure. So that computer can belong to a organization or an institution, or it can also be your individual computer. So the main goal of web security is to detect, prevent, and respond to the attacks. So we should be able to perform all these three actions, that is detect, prevent, and respond to attacks. Now coming to the principles of security. Mainly, if you look into the principles, there are three main principles: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Now these three principles together will be called in short as CIA triad. Okay, so usually they say that the data should be protected by a CIA triad, meaning it has to be confidential, integrity should be there, and it should be available. So let us look into each of this. Okay, so first one, we have confidentiality. Confidentiality means that the data should be kept private. Okay, so privacy should be present for us. Integrity meaning the attacker should not be able to do any modifications to the data that you have uploaded. Then the third one, that is availability of the IT infrastructure. Okay, meaning when you are going to use your computer that is belonging to the organization or your personal computer, it should not be damaged, meaning there should be power, the UPS should be all right, it should not be damaged. So availability of infrastructure is very important in terms of security. Now other than these three basic principles, there is this fourth principle, that is non-repudiation. Okay, non-repudiation or the denial of service. If I am the authorized user of a particular website, I should have complete access of that website. If someone attacks it or does any modification, if I am not able to view, then it means that your software or your computer or that website is not secure. But mainly when we look into the principles of security, the first three are very, very important, that is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Now let us look into the different types of attacks. The first one that we have is called as the backdoor attack. Backdoor attack meaning there are certain doors, okay, which are made available to check privacy. Okay, to check privacy, or say to check the piracy. Okay, and these backdoors are actually developed by the software developer. So what happens is, these attackers, if they come to know about these backdoors, what they will do is they will attack, and your data will be insecure. So one of the example of the backdoors is attack is what happened with the Sony CDs. So mainly with the CDs, they have some backdoors in order to check the piracy of their music or whatever. So if those backdoors are known to the attacker, they will be attacked. The second one is denial of service, which is in short sometimes also called as DOS. What happens here in this case is that you will be having too many mails popping up when you try to log in to a particular website, and that website will actually be inaccessible to you. So such kind of attacks are called as denial of service attacks. The third one is the direct access attack. So here the attacker will try to obtain your username and password and try to access the information. So this is called as direct access attack. That is, he'll try to use the username and password and try to attack. The fourth one is eavesdropping. So in this case, what happens is that usually there are certain softwares which are available to listen to the network. Okay, if someone is communicating between two computers, there are softwares available wherein you can listen to the network. So the attacker is aware of your IP address and can monitor the traffic as to what you are speaking or what you are conversing, what files you are exchanging, and he will be knowing what is happening in the network. So he can easily crack your username and password if it is not properly encrypted. So this is called as eavesdropping. The next set of attack is spoofing. That is, if the attacker is aware of your IP address, he can impersonate as yourself and use the credentials and hack your system or the web. The sixth type is the tampering attack. So if anybody has, say, access to my information, so he can also modify the information. It is not that he is going to use the information, he can modify the information. So this is called as tampering. So you need to understand the difference between spoofing and tampering. Spoofing is wherein you are going to impersonate, whereas tampering is wherein you are going to make modifications. The seventh type is the repudiation attacks, wherein the receiver, okay, whoever is using the system and using the site, say for example, he is believing that he is receiving the information from, say, genuine center. He is not aware as to who sent the information to him. Says you receive certain emails or something, you believe that it is being sent to you from a genuine center, but actually he is not aware that he is being attacked. The eighth one is the information disclosure attack. So here the attacker has access to your personal information, say such as your Aadhaar card or voter ID numbers. So he will put that numbers online and he will try to misuse. So these are one of the most common attacks that have been happening in the recent times, and many government agencies and all have been facing a lot of issues because of this information disclosure attack, wherein they ask you to upload your data and the data will be misplaced. The ninth one is the privilege escalation attack. So in this case, what happens is that, say you are using one particular domain, so you are having certain privileges, you are able to read or write, but what happens is that if the attacker gets to know your administration username or password, he will make changes to the privileges. So because of that, you will not be able to, say, read or write or do any modifications to your own data. So this is called as privilege escalation attacks. The 10th one is the exploits. So any software, when it is being developed, it is not that it is 100% perfect. If the complexity is more, then it is prone to many bugs. So what happens is that these attackers, they will identify those bugs and will make some sort of malware and attack your either computer or the website. So these kind of attacks are called as exploits. The 11th one is social engineering. In social engineering, you do not require any technical knowledge or anything. It is just more of like the attacker is trying to do a guesswork, more of mind reading. So he will just simply put a bogus mail or saying that some maintenance of hardware is going on. He will send you an OTP and he'll ask you to send the OTP back and all that thing, and then eventually he will try to attack you. So this is more of like playing with your mind and doing some guesswork. So such kind of attacks are called as social engineering attacks. So 12th one, we have indirect attacks. So here this is one of the most common actually happens. We put up a lot of things in the website or say in social media regarding our personal information, photos and all those things. What these attackers will do is they'll pick up those photos or those personal information and they'll try to misuse. So such kind of attacks are called as indirect attacks. Most of the time in these indirect attacks, we are not even aware that some of our information is even misused. So once it comes openly in the media or something like that, we tend to get panicked. So it's very important that we share minimalistic information on the web. Now the third one is the malware attack. Malware attack, we have three types, that is the Trojan horses, we have the adware and the spyware. Trojan horses means here the good looking softwares will be available. They say that you can download this, download that, all those things are there. So you will download the software, okay, those good looking softwares you will download because they promise you a lot of things, and then slowly and eventually what they will do is they will hack your system. So they are called as Trojan horses. Now there is a history behind this Trojan horse. These Trojan horses, or simply Trojan, is a Greek word that is derived from a story of a deceptive Trojan horse that led to the fall of the city of Troy. So this is some form of social engineering itself. Okay, more about this you can read on the net. So here mainly what we do is mainly the attacker does is he will give you a good looking softwares, you end up downloading those softwares and your system will be hacked. Next, under the malware you have adware, wherein you get a lot of these shopping suggestions and offers. So when you go online shopping, they will suggest this bag or that dress or something, and that kind of too much of posting of information and giving you suggestions is one kind of adware attack. Spyware is when the software will start behaving in a weird manner, and it will try to gather all the information. Okay, so such kind of attack is called as the spyware attack. So the next one, that is bots. Okay, here your system is used to attack other systems. Now in this attack, mainly most of the time what happens is that when we are using a system, that is our personal system, we may not be having too much of information in the system. We just might be having little data that is being stored in our computer, or we might be uploading very less information on the web and all that. But what happens is that sometimes we can also become a victim. Okay, so bots is when your system is being used as a victim and being used to attack some other system. So just like robots, how it happens. Okay, so that is why this type of attack is called as bots. That is, your system is being a victim used to attack the other systems. So you have to be very careful, especially when you are using your personal computers or PCs and laptops, not to download unnecessary softwares. The 15th one is the ransomware attack. So here your entire data will be encrypted. Your entire data, in the sense your data, what you have uploaded or what you have in your PC, is being encrypted, and you are not able to see what you have worked on. So that is why it's very important that you have always a backup in your PCs. The 16th one is rootkits. This rootkits, if you see, basically it's a software, okay? It's been used to attach to any other system, and slowly it will extend its privileges, like say it will attack the entire system. So rootkits basically are softwares. 17th one, virus or worms. This I need not explain, you can understand with the name itself. So these virus or worms generally are used to attack the hardware, okay? They are more like self-replicating on its own. They will start mutating like that. So these will propagate from one place to the other very fast, and they can attach to your, say, mail book or the contact book, and they will replicate. This is one of the common types of attacks, that is virus and worms. The 18th one is called as the phishing attack. Okay, this is like an exact replica of your original website. Say you have some website of your own wherein you are selling some product. So exact replica of that website without an HTTPS, that is secure. It will be in the form of, say, HTTP. So such kind of websites, when they are available and you use your username and password, you are prone to phishing attack. And this is one of the most common attacks that occurs with net banking. What happens is that there will be one background program that will be going on. So that background program, which is like meant for the replica of the original website, will try to acquire the username and password of your net banking, for example, okay, and then it will try to misuse. So that is why you have to be very careful when you use net banking websites. For one example of this attack, I can mention one of the recent incidences that occurred with the NDTV anchor, if you remember, Nidhi Razdan. So what happened in her case was that she was offered a teaching journalism post at Harvard University. Then later she realized after almost a year that it was fake. So these types of attacks, these phishing attacks, are very common these days. The 19th one is the identity theft. So people are stealing your photo, your Aadhaar number or your voter ID number, and they are misusing against you. Okay, so this is also some form of social engineering itself. The 20th one is the intellectual property theft. Okay, in this case, this is much more relevant to people who own companies, these government agencies and all. They will have a lot of information, the data that is being present for many years. But what happens is that they are not even aware sometimes that their data is stolen. So when such data gets stolen, it's called as intellectual property theft. The 21st one is the password attack. So here what happens is that you have some certain sort of websites, or say e-commerce or something. You are typing the password, you enter the password, and once you enter the password and you try to log in, what happens is that website gets stuck. So basically your data is getting accessed using your password in this case. So such kind of attacks are called as password attacks. The next one is blue snuffing or blue jacking. This blue snuffing and blue jacking is very much pertaining to the usage of Bluetooth. Okay, sometimes what happens is that when we make use of our laptops or say mobile phones, we keep our Bluetooth on and we don't even realize that fact. So what happens is that when your Bluetooth is on for a very long time, you become a victim. So the attacker, for him it is like an open door. He can access all the information that is there on your phone or on your PC, and he will make use of the opportunity and try to get that information from your system, say from your system or from your phone. So it's very important that once you are done with your work, you ensure that your Bluetooth is kept off. The next one is DDoS, that is distributed denial of service. Okay, so here what happens is that in this case there are a number of computers which are trying to send a lot of these unauthorized requests to a particular IP address, and these are basically automated type of attacks. We cannot do anything for this. So that is distributed denial of service. They are continuously sending you a lot of unnecessary information, say to one particular IP address. The last type of attack is called the keylogger attack. So here a software or a hardware is chipped inside your keyboard. Okay, so what this software or the hardware will do is it will sense whatever you are trying to type in the keyboard, and it will send that information in the form of say text file to the attacker, or it will even attach it to your mail ID and send it to the attacker. So keylogger means that some sort of hardware or software is already chipped into your keyboard, wherein it will try to grab all information that you are typing. Now, after studying these different types of cyber attacks, we need to understand what is the motivation to the cyber attacks. So, every attacker also knows that at performing any sort of cyber attack is a crime, but still he is motivated to do it. So the reason for this is there are four main things. Okay, you have first one, the cyber crime. Second one, you have cyber espionage. The third one is the cyber warfare, and the fourth one is hacktivism. Okay, now so in cyber crime, the motivation is nothing but money. Okay, he just wants to make money, the attacker. So that is why he is performing such kind of attacks. So some example if I have to give you, people try to hack the ATM machines. So just for the sake of earning more money, or I can say quick money, they perform cyber crime. Cyber espionage means you want to obtain the information in the digital form. When I say espionage, it basically means as an act of say spying or using of spies, and this is mainly done by the government or a company. So in this case, this type of cyber espionage is initiated by the government in order to say gain economic or political or some technological edge. So these kind of attacks when performed will take it will take longer than a month, so it will go on for a longer period of time. One example if I have to give you, say in the year 2009, Google had collected the information of Gmail accounts, and these accounts were those of the human rights activists who were belonging to China. And these attacks were codenamed as Aurora by McAfee Labs. So this is one example. There are many, but this is just one example of cyber espionage. So mainly in this case, what happens is that these type of attacks are initiated by the government. Okay, so you can see almost 12.2%. This is the data that is collected in the year 2018. So in the year 2018, almost 12.2% cyber attacks were because of cyber espionage. Probably now it has been more. Okay. The next category is the cyber warfare. So in the case of cyber warfare, these are initiated by the military basically in order to disrupt the activities for their purpose, for military purpose. And this is more like a quick attack, a tit for tat, and this is usually occurring between countries when there are wars going on. Okay, so they try to do something, so you in response will try to attack them, and these are very quick. Whereas the cyber espionage is eventually, they take in a slow and steady phase, whereas cyber warfare crimes are the ones which occur very quickly. The last one, that is hacktivism. So this contributes to only 1.7% as per the data received in the year 2018. Hacktivism meaning civil disobedience or cyber terrorism basically. So this word hacktivism is coined by combining two things, that is hack plus activism. Okay, so this occurs just because they want to show power. Okay, the terrorists want to show power over you. They can, in terms of say these religious groups and all that. So such type of crimes or cyber attacks are called as hacktivism. One example is the collision between the Chinese and the American plane that occurred in the year 2001. So now I have mentioned the motivation to the cyber attacks. There are four main motivations. The cyber crime is the one mainly meant for money, which covers a larger portion in this particular chart. And even in the present scenario also, you will be able to see that this chart, that is the chart which motivates the cyber attacks, will have a larger portion pertaining to cyber crime. Okay, now we have understood what are the motivations to attack, but we need to know whether there is an end to this. Okay, so in reality, there is no way we can say that there will be an end. We should be sure that we will be attacked, but we don't know when. Okay, if we are attacked, we don't know when we will be attacked. There is no solution to this particular crime. So as long as there are these cyber criminals and as long as softwares have bugs, because there is no way that we can design, a software developer will be able to design a software without any bugs. There will be some or the other bug which the attacker will be able to identify. There will be some or the other loophole. Okay, so as long as there are cyber criminals, there will be attacks. And moreover, eventually as the days are passing by, you can see that the proportion of cyber warfare will become greater. It will not just be for cyber crime, it will also be for cyber warfare, because each country wants to develop. So you will be able to see that eventually in the coming years, the chart that I showed you, wherein I specified regarding the cyber espionage, cyber warfare, hacktivism, cyber crime. So this 4.3% will eventually increase over a period of time.